and it's time for another installment of Pros Asking Pros questions. And yes, you are definitely going to need to pour more of that drink. Probably more. Keep pouring. This first question comes from somebody that I would say is probably one of the most well-known people
nervous.
in all of pickleball, and he's also a very good friend of Zane's. Here's a question from Dave, the Badger Weinbach.
I'm curious, Zane. How did you get the nickname Elastigirl?
Oh, God. I play with Dave all the time in Madison, and Elastigirl is one of those nicknames that I left out. I prefer Gumby, because I'm kind of like, I'm lanky and I can get to stuff and I'm pretty flexible. But yeah, I don't know how Dave just one day started calling me Elastigirl, and that was some original material from him, which was great. So yeah, that's how I got the nickname Elastigirl too. It's named after there's an Incredibles movie character named Elastigirl. So very flexible.
That's not the only question we have from Dave. Let's go with question number 2.
My second question is, how many miles did you put on your car on trips from Whitewater, Wisconsin to Garner Park in Madison over the last 2 or 3 years?
You gave him 2 questions. He's all about the airtime. He's all over this. No, I'm just kidding. So when I was in school at Whitewater, I was in grad school. I was finishing up my education after tennis. And so that year, after tennis, I've probably averaged 25,000 miles per year on cars. And then this year I'm actually averaging more. I got a new car in March, and I'm already at like 20,000 miles on it since I've gotten it. So I drive a lot.
It's funny that you said Dave likes airtime, because that wasn't it. Let's go with question number 3.
And the third most important question is, at Daba Indian Bistro, do you prefer korma sauce, tikka masala, or vindaloo?
Great
That's
question.
probably got to be the toughest question that's going to come on today's interview. But basically, when we go to Daba, which is an Indian restaurant in Madison, we go there when Altoff comes to town to play. Altoff will fly in, play with us for a couple days. And the answer to that question is whatever Altoff orders me. We just give Altoff the menu. Nobody else even looks. Altoff just tells us what to order. He's like, we're getting this, and that. And whatever Altoff tells me, I just eat it, ask questions later. And it's always really good. So I do love some chicken tikka masala though. Oof, that is good.
Here's one from the Winter Soldier, a.k.a. Pat Smith.
Hey, Zane. Great year, man. Absolute pleasure playing you this year. Got a question for you, though. I know that you're training Murray still quite a bit. I think he's a little too smart for you, though, because for some reason, isn't he the one supposed to be in a kennel and not you? So how's that going?
And yeah, I think honestly, Murray's more so training Jenny and I than anything else. So training's not going that well. We're not very good at it. And he is definitely too smart for us.
Nice. Well, it's funny that Murray got brought up, because this next question actually comes from not one, but 2 people, and that is Murray and Jenny.
I'll translate. Murray and I have a question for you. Who do you love more? Murray or pickleball?
Jenny, we're going to talk about this later, but that's too tough of a question, right? I love Murray. He's my dog, but pickleball is not like a person. I love pickleball too. So I know that's a terrible answer, but there's no good answer. So
here's one from Frank Anthony Davis.
So Zane, I got a question for you. What things are your favorite about playing singles that you don't get out of playing doubles? And conversely, what are your favorite things out of doubles that you don't get out of singles?
That's a good question. I guess I have a question back. Like, where is he right now? What can we? Is there a way to roll that again? Is he in like a where? Is he building a house right now?
Looked like he was building a house. Like, it looked like maybe adding some insulation to the upper part of a house.
So singles, I like to run around. That's what I like about singles. Sometimes I feel like I don't get enough running around in doubles, although I definitely try. So yeah, I like the movement. I like how I can get kind of a cardio workout out of pickleball. I can feel like I'm breathing hard, and I like that. I like that it's kind of just me on the court, and if I lose, I only have myself to blame, and if I win, I get all the credit, right? Instead of having to give Altoff all the credit. And so what I like about doubles is I do think that doubles is just kind of a better game because you can have longer points. You can be a little bit more creative. You get into the fast-handed exchanges. I don't know. I like both of them. Singles is very grindy. It's physically difficult, but I don't mind it. I like to run around, like I said. So
This one comes from Andrea Coop.
Hey Zane, I'm a big UCLA fan. Go Bruins. I cheer them on any chance I get. Do you have any school spirit for Wisconsin Whitewater like that, or do you cheer on another program in your state or elsewhere? Tell us about it. Thanks.
yeah, no, I mean I'm definitely partial to Whitewater tennis. I had a ton of fun there when I was playing. I've got to get back, try and get to some matches this year. When I was done with my undergrad, I was in grad school, and I coached the team a little bit, and that was a lot of fun. I mean, I was just I was a volunteer coach, but I really enjoyed it. And Whitewater's not too far from me; it's only about an hour away. So I've definitely got some Warhawk spirit.
So hopefully I don't butcher the name of this next person, but here's a question from the very talented Jay DeVilliers.
Hey, my friend. So my question to you today is, what annoys you the most in general? Because you always look happy and always positive. So I was wondering.
Recently, this is totally off. Well, I don't know if it's off topic, but recently I've been flying a lot, going to a bunch of tournaments. And what really annoys me is when we're on an airplane, right? And we're sardined in there, right? Like it's a full flight, shoulder to shoulder, and we're deplaning. Everyone's grabbing their bags, and over the radio, you hear, please don't congregate in the aisles to promote social distancing. And I'm like, well, we're all just in here in this plane. What difference does it make if we're standing in the aisle or if we're sitting shoulder to shoulder next to somebody? So anyway, that's been pissing me off lately. But that's pretty much all I have to complain about in life.
Well, it's a known fact if you're standing, you make more germs spew out of your body than if you're sitting. It's just a known fact, Zane. I'm surprised you didn't know that. But
okay.
Anyways.
Well, I feel more educated now. I do feel more educated now. Enlightened,
and that's
educated.
Yeah, there you go. Here's one from the one and only Deckel Bar.
I have a couple questions for you. One is, what is your favorite moment of Altoff on court with him? And the second is, how many games of singles does it take you to finally break a sweat?
I would have to direct you to the hip thrusting video that Kyle Salenko put out the other day of Altoff just like thrusting frequently. Anytime Altoff thrusts on the court, I know we're in a good spot. So that's great. I love that. And then how many games of singles does it take me to break a sweat? I don't know. I guess I don't really sweat that much. It doesn't mean that I'm not running around, but yeah, I mean, not everybody sweats a ton. So I don't have a good answer to that one.
So before we get to the next question, I actually want to put a photo up on the screen. If you look at the caption, this is from the website. I was doing research on you, and the caption says, Zane Navratil, on the right, poses with a pickleball doubles partner, Brian Ashworth of Oregon. So this must have been a while ago, because that Brian looks a lot different in that photo than what I'm used to him looking like. His beard definitely wasn't as long as it is now, but we actually have a question from the man alongside Zane in that photo. So here's a question from Brian Ashworth.
Brian?
Hi guys, Brian the Hair Trashworth here. Just playing with you, Kyle Salenko. Some of you guys may know me as the live streamer for the APP tour. Make sure you check out the YouTube page, subscribe. Gucci, this question's for you. As many people may know, you play with Altoff Merchant a lot. And Altoff has a lot of good sayings, but he's always yelling at you to not get bullied on the line? And, well, we all know you have like little scrawny, piddly arms, so we know why you're getting bullied. But what player you think bullies you the most at the kitchen line?
Wow, what a shameless plug. Can you believe that? I can't believe you guys let this happen on your show. What is this?
Right?
Like, is your show just a walking advertisement? This is ridiculous. You guys need to have some standards.
Right. And I apologize to everybody that was actually hoping for a question from Brian Ashworth. That was not Brian Ashworth. We realized that was not Brian Ashworth. So get that out of your heads right now.
So, also, I'd like to address the scrawny arms. Anybody that follows me on Instagram, again, I actually just posted something today that disproves this scrawny arms type of thing. I did my best Pat Smith impersonation and rolled up the you know what? I'll take it off. Hold on, give me a second here. I did a Pat Smith impersonation and I rolled up the. Come on, you can't. These are at least like 26-inch biceps. I mean, give or take. It depends on the day and whether I've gotten my pump in or not. But you can't do me like that, Kyle. So don't get bullied on the line. Who bullies me on the line? I always feel like if I'm playing against Matt Wright, I'm always just like wrong-footed. He has a way of making me look stupid. So he maybe bullies me on the line. I don't know if that's what Altoff talks about. Ben makes everybody look dumb, so that's not a great answer.
Well, that's not the only question we have from Kyle Solenko. So here's question number 2.
Secondly, you've also played with Jeff Warnick. Who has better celebrations, Jeff Warnick or Altoff Merchant? And could you show us some?
I really don't think you can say that one is better. I mean, Altoff's got a hip thrust. I mean, how can you beat a hip thrust? But, I mean, you can hear Jeff Warnick from a mile away, right? And so there's no good answer to that. I'd say it's entertaining watching Jeff. He's just so loud, right? Like, so when we were playing Ben and Matt, Jeff ernied Matt, and he was very, very close to the line, and so Matt was going right at the referee. He's like, he was on line. He's like this far away from the referee, right? Jeff, of course, just ernied. So Jeff is on the other side of the referee, like this far away. Matt's yelling, he's on line. Jeff's just like, no, you just got to think better, be better. And so there's no comparison. They're both great. If Jeff added hip thrusting to his repertoire of celebrations, I'd have to give him the edge, but I haven't seen it out of him yet. Maybe that's only because I've only played with him once, but I don't have a good answer for that, Eddie. I'm sorry.
Now he did ask if you could show us your favorite from them. Is there anything you can demonstrate here live on the air?
Altoff does a lot of this. I'll give you this. After a point, he'll go something like this.
Here we go. The Altoff hip thrust. That's pretty good. That's good. I've seen that Altoff hip thrust. What about you, Eddie?
Yep. Oh, yeah. I've seen it many times.
So I think now is a perfect time to hear from the man himself. And here's a question from the one and only Altoff Merchant.
Hey, Zane. What's up, man? Hey, doubles is all about communicating. So I got this question for you. We're gonna be playing 15, 16 tournaments next year. And I just want to make sure you and I get our communication right. So I just want you to know, like this right here, right? When you're dinking, you're there and I'm here. You see this line? This is my side, right? That is your side. So I just need you to tell me, do you want me to remind you via text message, instant message, WhatsApp, no app, this app, that app, call you, give you like notes? How do you want me to communicate to you in 2021 that this side is my side, and that side is your side? Now, singles is on Thursday, mixed doubles is on Sunday. But when you play with me on Saturday, men's doubles, this side is my side. That side is your side. So let me know, and I look forward to playing with you next year.
So I don't know if Altoff has hit his second growth spurt or whatever, but once his arms reach past his waist, then I'll stop taking balls from his side. That's it.
Nice.
That's it. No, it's I don't know. I go over every once in a while. I screw. Like I said, I call it being creative. He calls it being stupid. Maybe that's something we should communicate about. So, but yeah, text works fine.
I'll warn you right now, it's a little on the controversial side. I wasn't even sure if we should play this clip. Hopefully we don't regret it, but here is a special message to you from Glenn Lucy.
Hi, Zane, my boy. This is really more of a statement than a question, a revelation, if you will. Well, your mother and I, Dimple as I call her, a long time ago, on a warm summer's evening, gave in to temptation. And 9 months later, out came little Zane. And that's why you're so good at pickleball. I love you, son.
I have nothing to say to that other than I think you should have Glenn Lucy on your show and see how he gets ripped.
Like, how are you feeling after seeing that? I mean, are you okay, or how is everything?
I think Glenn's funny. That was just kind of weird, but I didn't really know what else to expect from Glenn. Like you said, it was a little bit more of a statement than a question, but
right,
And
to be honest, I feel like we need to get the social media fact checkers to investigate Glenn. I feel like that's something that Twitter would probably flag as possible misinformation.
First of all, I did fact check it. Fake news. So we're good there.
We have another question here from another very well-known pro, and this one comes from Irena Tarashenko.
Zane, I know you have a real job, so maybe tell us a little bit about it, and also tell us, how do you manage your time between work and pickleball? Do you have any vacation days left, or you spend pretty much all of them on pickleball tournaments? Thank you. Bye.
So I know you said you actually recently quit your full-time job, but I think that's still a great question because a lot of people would like to know, like, before you quit your full-time job, like how did you manage your time between the pickleball scene and work life?
Yeah, so I only made it like 10 months in the corporate world. I was working as a financial statement auditor. So I was pretty much working about 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for most of my time at Deloitte, and sometimes more. But what got me through it was being able to play with Kyle Salenko. I had a 45-minute commute as well, so I would get home usually not before 9 o'clock at night from work, a lot of times after 10 o'clock, and he and I would go to play pickleball in the winter on a gym floor at the YMCA. I would wake up at 4:45 to play. I would go there. We would play from 5:30 in the morning till about 6:45, and then I'd go to work. And so that's how I managed it. I only played, I think, 2 tournaments in the time I was at Deloitte. But yeah, now I'm on my own time, and I set my own schedule and whatnot. And vacation days just mean Zane not getting paid days now. So
this next question comes from a good friend of yours and somebody that's very well known in the world of pickleball, and that is Neil Friedenberg.
Hey Zane, I hope you're doing well. I have a couple questions for you for the Eddie and Webby show. Number one relates to your tennis career. You came from a very successful tennis career in high school and Division III college. You now are on the tour facing Division I tennis players, professional athletes, professional tennis players. Why do you feel that you successfully compete against them so well?
I don't know. I've never really been, even in tennis, I was never really, I feel like, that talented. I kind of grind at stuff. Like I get obsessed with things. I have kind of an all-in personality. So when it came to tennis, I wasn't really that talented, but I worked really hard at it, and I did pretty well. And school, I'm not that smart, but I feel like I outworked the other people at my school, and I became an academic All-American, which is kind of cool. And maybe pickleball is the same deal. I really like it, and I want to devote a lot of time and effort to it. And I feel like something that's always kind of distinguished me from others is just the willingness to do what other people might not be. Today I woke up at 4:45 in the morning to go drive an hour and a half to train with my buddy John. And I feel like, maybe not everybody's going to do that. So I'm willing to do the little things, the behind the scenes stuff. And I think that's what helps. So.
Well, that was question 1 from Neil Friedenberg. Now it's time for question number 2.
I have it in front of me, kind of have to read it. Just want to make sure I get everything. You're a very bright scholar in college, graduating high in your class, and took a great job directly out of college. You made a very tough choice to move to pickleball and compete on the tour. How has that affected your family, your girlfriend, and what are your goals in the long term when the pickleball run as a pro comes to an end? Will you go back to your old job and your degree, or will you go forward with pickleball, teaching, and grinding out there? Take care. Hope you're doing well. Much love to the family, and have fun.
I got to say just a thing about Neil really quickly. So my first ever sponsorship was with ProLite, and Neil is the owner of ProLite. And, I will forever be kind of thankful for what Neil did for me and sponsoring me. And, even though ProLite's kind of taken a different business model, they're not really sponsoring the top pro players, which I can understand. So I'm forever thankful to Neil and ProLite, and I always wish them the best. That's super cool what they did for me, and I'm thankful. And Neil's a great guy, runs a great company. So the transition has been good. My family kind of understood that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? I can't go back and try and play pro pickleball when I'm 40 years old. And I left my job on good terms, right? They understood the same thing. This is a time sensitive opportunity. You can only be a high level athlete for a limited amount of time. And the thing is, I still enjoy a lot about the business side of things, which maybe not everybody does. And so I like being approached frequently with opportunities. Most of them are things that I don't pursue, but I like to think about all of them. So I see myself eventually getting involved with the business side of pickleball after or during my playing time. How has my family been taking it? It hasn't been particularly easy. Leaving my girlfriend Jenny to go on trips and leaving my puppy Murray at Meant to Be Murray on Instagram. But they've been supportive of it. It's a pretty unique opportunity, and I think they see that too. So, and I have time to, at least now I have the flexibility to say, I need to be home on a Monday afternoon for something that's important, and I can cut out time from my schedule to do that instead of having to ask somebody else's, my boss's permission to do that. So I think they all kind of see that it's a pretty cool, risky opportunity to be your own boss. But I think it's worth it for me.
This next question comes from a true legend in the sport of pickleball. Here's one from Steve Peranto.
Hey Zane, Steve Peranto here. You're fairly recently out of college and you had a real professional job and you were balancing the two, pickleball and your job. And it sounds like maybe you've gone more toward pickleball. So my first question is, that must have been a tough decision. How did you come up with that decision?
I have to give a lot of props to Cassandra Gerke. She was, pretty instrumental in helping me make the decision. She let me know how well she does with lessons and clinics, and that what I was worried about was the stability of things, especially quitting my job during COVID, right? I had no idea whether people would take lessons or sign up for clinics, and luckily they have. People have come out in droves. And Cassandra kind of told me about that. And so that was kind of what was holding me back from initially making the decision to do it.
This next question is very exciting for us. It comes from somebody that is very well known outside of the world of pickleball, but he is actually very extremely passionate about pickleball. He is a former contestant and winner from the TV show Survivor. Here's a question from Tyson Apostle.
Yo, Zane, what's up, dude? This is Tyson, one of your closest friends. Anyways, I have a question for you. If you were stranded on a deserted island, there was a pickleball court and all your gear, who would you choose to be stranded with? Think about it.
Wow. That is such a good question. If I was stranded, who would I take with me? Well, if Jenny and Murray are watching the show, I have to say them, right? So we'll count them out, right? I would say, obviously my girlfriend Jenny, but after that, my dog, my parents, my family, all that type of stuff. But outside of that, I'd have to say probably either Altoff, Cassandra, or Jeff, because those guys all love to run their mouth, and there's just never a dull moment with those guys. So they would keep things entertaining while stranded on a desert island. So all the partners that I've had so far have been very mouthy, and I like that. So they keep things entertaining. I'd have to say one of those guys.
And this is one from the one and only Chuck Feinstein.
Zane Navratil, my good friend. Chucky Feinstein here. My question for you. If you're playing in a big tournament and your partner has really bad gas, what would you do about it?
Wow. That happens a lot more than you'd think. Between Altoff's diet and Cassandra's diet, holy crap, I'm used to it. Dave, even Dave I've played with Dave a couple times. That guy rips them like nobody else. But Chuck is really kind of the king of that. If you've ever been around Chuck Feinstein, he's a legend, right? There's a Pickleball Hall of Fame. He's part of the Pickleball Farting Hall of Fame. He consistently, day in and day out, has better farts than anybody else. To be honest, I'd say they're not particularly potent, so I can deal with that. Right? It's really just the auditory distraction, but which you can get over. But what really kind of throws you off is when you can smell it for a little while. So what do? Yeah, there's not much you can do. You just got to play through it. You just got to, pretend like it doesn't happen, or just laugh at it.
This next one actually comes from another legend in the sport of pickleball, and this one comes from Wes Gabrielson.
As someone with Wisconsin roots, like I have, I always have had an interest in the culture of Wisconsin. So since you're a native Wisconsinite, I've got a couple of questions for you regarding Wisconsin. Number one, what are your 2 or 3 favorite traditional Wisconsin/Midwest dishes to eat? So food-wise there.
What are my favorite Wisconsin dishes? I would have to say, and I'm partial to this, but Racine Kringle. Kringle from Racine, Wisconsin. Kringle is a type of, it's almost like a stuffed donut mixed with a croissant. It's very flaky and kind of buttery, and it's got a little filling. And I usually take it with me to, if anybody hosts me at a tournament, gives me a place to stay, I will bring them a Kringle from Racine, Wisconsin. So I love those. Culver's is great.
But that wasn't the only question from Wes. Here's question number 2.
My second and most burning question here is, do people from Wisconsin really have a thick accent? So my question to you, don't you know, is what is a word or two or a phrase that you can share with us with a real thick Wisconsin accent?
I don't know. I do a lot of if you go to the door at the same exact time that somebody else does, you go But I don't know.
We don't always just do questions from pros. The final question comes from a huge fan of yours, and so let's just go ahead and play this question from Zane's biggest fan.
Hey Zane, Cassie here. I'm one of your biggest fans, and I'm super excited that Webby asked me to come on the show and ask you a question. So I've been watching a lot of your mixed doubles lately, and you play with this, I can't remember her name right now, but she's super funny, super pretty, she's a really good player. And I've just noticed your mix style is very different, and you guys seem to have a lot of confusion in the middle. So my question for you is, does the forehand take the middle or the backhand? Because I've seen you guys both do it different times. So I actually prefer the backhand takes the middle, but just wanted to check and see what your thoughts were.
Move, Zane, get out the way. Get out the way, Zane, get out the way. Move, Zane, get out the way. Get out the way, Zane, get out the way.
Yep. That just happened.
That is too good. I was actually formulating my response, and I was going to say, you know, there's a song that we always talk about when we play together. But then again, that's another comment that would lose me all of my sponsors. So, no, Cass and I have a unique relationship when it comes to the middle. You know, she's so good at the frying pan gurky punch. If she gets there first, that's all hers. If I get there first, it's all mine. But sometimes if we clunk paddles, we will play we'll start humming a ludicrous song. And yeah, that's about that. You guys got the idea of it. That was too good. I was wondering when Cassandra was going to show up on this. This is awesome.
Pickleball addicting and fun, that's no joke. Pickleball and it's not just for old folks. Pickleball.